Hi, everyone. It's Jen from Mind's Eye, and we're going to do the weekly holistic review. And what we're going to do is, when we look at it, you just can't even pick it apart. You have to sit there and you literally have to say, this is so destroying. This is so ungrateful. This is so nasty of a week coming that you can't even do it anymore. Like you can't put a due date on anything. And I keep saying that and it's like I swear to God, I have been saying it for months. You just can't understand about this. So when I'm looking at everything and I'm looking at how bird flu came in, I have to say that it really was a cement deal. And when I look at a cement deal, everyone is going to automatically look at the COVID vaccines, the vaccines itself, that how it all gets done, that you can't even be done whatsoever, and nobody knows what done is, and everyone's at their max, and you just can't even do it. So when I actually sit there and I say, yeah, you actually can. You can do it. You really can. You can do your own PT. You can do your own OT. You can do a lot of things. But in reality, what is reserved? When we actually pick it apart, we have to look at, as me being a former visiting nurse, I understood immediately, but it did take time as practice by looking at someone and saying they probably could just by observancy. And it wasn't mean, it was following standards of insurance because of fraud. So when we actually look through it, we have to say, what was actually like the most heinous act. And it really was out here in Connecticut when I'm still preaching to the hilt that you can't even believe how they would cut off anesthesia per the insurance because you met your max. So then when I look at United Healthcare and I'm looking at how everything else is coming in as a domino effect of an unveiling of what is true, that you just can't even see it or you can't even press a lawsuit. And that's why it really, really hurts to come through and say, you're the one, and nobody knows what the one is. But it really is a sue, like a sue and a stew and a so and a do re mi fa sol la ti do, and then speech language comes in. But what really is upsetting, and this is the energy of it just coming in, is how people are upset because they're getting told what to do to almost a derogatory term. So now that we've gotten a little political about holistic, you have to say it is a little political in healthcare right now. So when you hear the word you're being outsourced, because a contract is coming in, so doctors and nurses are being outsourced, and they might have something. There's strength in some justice that's coming in. This is the strength card. And when it comes through in the next week, that you just can't even line up the dots and sew it in like a Betsy Ross or a Clara Barton, because it really does give relief when all of a sudden a contract comes up and shows up on the table and says, I think this is the better one to do. But in reality, that some things actually get solidified a little bit more early than others. So when I look at this and I say the Page of Pentacles in reverse is no money offer on the table, you have to look at it and say the Seven of Swords in reverse is no takeaway, but the game that comes through on a review that you can't even sue anything. And I look at it, I'm like, yeah, it's Susie Q. It's a QT pie. It is anything that has to do with a runaround sue. So when I see it and I see the Nine of Pentacles, there's no takeaway, there's no prudency, there's no observancy. What is key is that the fact that nobody is attuned, nobody is aligned, nobody can get fixed any which way or form, because when you go and you write one word, it goes, we are now a happy family because we got it all out. And you go, where was this? It went all the way down to one area in the United States and a couple of the countries that I'm seeing right now, that they actually went in for maybe something so simple as a physical exam, and now all of a sudden they're in family therapy. And you just don't understand why everything needs to get reformed. So when I see it and I see the 601s go, yeah, but there was a leak. And I said, that's right. In another segment here in Holistic, it was Wuhan. And I could see somebody actually left the vegetable a leak on the table and it all got out. So when you look at it, you say that type of trolling is criminal. Only criminals do that. They line it all up. You go, you really can't say it. The King of Pentacles is such greed on nastiness, on securement, that you have to say, where is this nasty energy? So, like I've educated, that this nasty female energy that's coming in is not per se a real female actually coming through. But when I'm standing there, I'm like, it's female energy. It definitely is another country. It definitely is something rural. And you can't even say it right at all, because all of a sudden you like don't even talk about it. It's it. It's it. It's something like that's well manifested. And we've been saying this for a really long time. But really it is the countryside of this country, and it's not revealing itself right now, that really is happy, really happy on the way things are going and playing and panning out. So I'm looking at the panhandle, and someone wants to do a rue on something, and when you look at it and you say you can't even do a rue because they're going to move money. So this is where I actually start getting my premonitions, and I start saying, yep, sick, because we said it. We were due to get sick. So when I see this and I say Two of Wands, when a lot of us maybe are a little bit more compromised than others, and we say we're hunkering down for the winter, we're doing our universal precautions, we're a little bit immunocompromised right now. There's really nothing wrong with that, even though there's like no appearances whatsoever. So when I see the Queen of Pentacles, I see an unsecurement in something that will come through, but really it has to do with like this new, like fresh start, this new beginning, the Fool card. So when I see it, it seems like out the charts thoughts, and it really isn't. That's just the energy only. All right. So when I do that, I'm like, yeah, here it is. Here it right is. Let's look at the Akashic Tarot. Here it is. Setting your course. Now, when I see this, it really is like setting a course. When I wake up in the morning, and for an example, I set my day, and my day literally goes where you can't even do anything, that the sands of time comes in and something reverses it. And it's just a blow in the wind. It's like this old saying that they caught wind and they ran with it. It's like they intuitively heard something so hard. They just had to do it no matter what. So when I'm seeing this, it doesn't matter. And it's the King of Scrolls. It really doesn't matter what is written. They're going to do it despite their intuition and their instinct. And it really makes no sense. But that's how strong a wind current can be, especially when it's in areas of war issues. So I'm seeing this. I'm seeing loving elementals. When I'm looking at it like so scientifically as, the FDA, the CDC, and DEA would be at this point with the DPH, you would have to say elementals, crosswinds, wind currents, how everyone is behaving, the scientific data, all of it, it really would say I would be cautious until April. Be really cautious. There was something about like fated meeting, and when this fated meeting happened, it caused abrupt instances of increased issues that nobody can understand. Like I said, I'm just seeing it as I am right now as a psychic. When I'm looking at the FDA for the next week, it really is a cause and effect issue. When I'm seeing the CDC, I'm seeing a paper issue. When I'm seeing the DEA, I see like a pea, actual like pea, green pea, and then I see a push forward, but then it's not clear and nobody can hear anything. When I'm seeing like the DPH, is it go for it to do your like yearly audits or randoms, it's just normal scheduled, but you can't even like go to the bathroom. There was something about that. And then, one day you actually look at like community health, the hospitals, they say we're actually full, like we're full census. It's something about a commitment that comes through, and it's not on the table. It's like a mail. It's like flown in. And when I see this and I see the waterfall in reverse, it retracts back. When I see the light of the world, it was brought forward. It was like foretold that something good would come in with better change. But when I see this and it's up in the air in reverse, you can't like contain. You can't contain. So it'll make sense, like if you're in an isolation, like you can't contain them. When I see the Ark of the Covenant in reverse, it really is looking at natural again, starting with whatever you're intuitively led on products for food and generic over the counters and anything for water, because you have to literally use what is true, and also be mindful when you are incorporating a new diet. This is like a speech I actually hear a lot of people coming through. This journey comes in. It really is whatever is traveling in energy and individuals to even, I don't know why I hear livestock. It really was something of an initiation that came in and came through. I don't understand that right now, which means that's a bad thing. So when I see the intricacies in the industry, you can't understand why a crumbling foundation lawsuit here in Connecticut could be possibly related to healthcare issues. So when I look at it and I say the War of the Roses comes in, I swear people are going to be point blank if they find that out. Oh my God, that's heinous. All right. So as I take a deep breath about that one, you can't even be about it. You can't even be about it. Here we go. Rabbit. After what was just said, look at it. The green grass grows. When I see this, I see an incident of crime that happened out here in Connecticut where a woman was sitting in the road holding a skull after a murder. I can't make this up. What is this related with the FDA, the CDC, the DEA, and all our agencies right now? What do we need to know about that? I hear all of a sudden you'll feel it. You can't even, like, you can't see it. ocean, the sea, it. This one would actually like, I'd go to the dentist. That's me right now. I'd be like, I'd go to the dentist. There's something about the dentist, about this crumbling foundations, about everything else prior, and then everything else come through about colds. I don't see schooling. I see cherry trees. It is to remain a mystery. It is a little bit of a mystery how that would happen. I would say, with this, I would actually start looking about numbers again, as always, of bird flu and COVID and pneumonia and all forms of airborne and droplet issues. And really counting how many things would come through. This is something about solitude, sitting in solitude and being alone. Now this one card is a little bit graphic, but it's like it's identity, something identity and solitude, where it is trickery. How would this affect our health? And I swear I'm not digging. I'm not digging hard as a psychic like I do in the deep dives or with B at B. You just can't make this up whatsoever. This is something of a ride along. I don't know why the snail is like alluding to a ride along. Here we go. Let's look at the gold tarot. See what we can get more out of that, because it's definitely going to come through. This is something that would link everything together on why. Here we go. Now with this, the Five of Pentacles, there is alleviation from the issues of whatever I just spoke about. I do see unhappiness in a lot of families due to it. All forms of the meaning of that saying. I do see an offering on the table to it. But when I see judgment, I have to say there is no judgment. Like, I see the suits, I see the lawsuits, but it really hurts. Like, they're really not getting anything from the insurance. I feel like this is something like, it's like the energy is like flowing in about North Carolina and FEMA and their health issues right now. And they all want to be snarky, and they're going to say, well, the Super Bowl is on. Just go ahead. Just go right ahead. There really was, this Queen of Pentacles comes in again and says it really was unsecurement of oneself. So when I see this and I say the Knight of Wands comes in, it's abruptly charged end. That is the end boiling point. But the starting point of that Knight of Wands in reverse, it has to literally say, no, go away. Like it starts odd. It's just all of a sudden, no, go away. And it's abruptly ended. Then all of a sudden you see, yeah, I have bees. I have a bee's nest. Yes, I have a rodent issue. I have an insect issue. Then all of a sudden you have a foundation issue. And then all of a sudden you're sick, and when your place of living really had no issues prior. So where is this coming from? And why is this related to COVID or anything like that? Let's be abrupt and actually ask, what do we need to know? So this one flew right out. This is something of like, you really got to sit like alone with it and with others. You have to sit hard with it. You really got to like churn yourself and stew yourself, thinking about it, brainstorming, and then going and saying, it's this, it's this. Like, it's so odd. All of a sudden it comes through. Like, I look at it and I'm like, I can pick up a pink pen and it makes sense. It makes sense. The Page of Swords comes in and goes, no, you really can't undercut, but test the soil. Test the soil. All right. When I look at this, I'm going right for the poker cards, and that will be it for tonight. That would be actually something I could see them finding in the middle of a misty May. All those agencies. So when I see this and I see the 5 of diamonds, you can't even believe like where a rock and a rope can go. And then it's out in the ocean. And then it has such like COVID, like pneumonia symptoms with the 7 of diamonds, with the 7 of spades that comes in. And then you can't even believe how hard it was to crack that. The Jack of Hearts is going to say the 5, the 7, and the Jack. It's going to come to a cement deal. There's something about cement that everyone is like aware of. All of a sudden, in April, May, I see a lot of GI bug. A lot of things are going through. All of a sudden, like all of a sudden. Now, with that being said, that's really all I have to say. I would say continue watching ourselves. This one's a little slower, though it was abrupt on the immediate close and the stopping of the workers of the Commerce federal agency, because they're really digging for something that has happened. They want to say 4 years. I want to say 9 years. For 9 years, something has been brewing and stewing, and it came up so abruptly that you can't even do it. You just have to keep looking. Like, you can't put a due date on anything. Just keep going along. So with that being said, any questions or concerns, leave a like, a comment, a share, an email, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good night, everyone.